All right, good morning, everyone. First things first, we're just going to test out that you can all hear me. So if someone could just go ahead and give me yes in the chat box or a thumbs up. Just going to wait and see that you guys can hear us clearly. Brilliant. Thanks, Chico. All right. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for today's workshop with Nairobi Garage. It's a pleasure to be here today. We appreciate you taking the time to engage with us in this particular forum. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mel Aseneka, and I'm the community manager here at Nairobi Garage, Kilimani. For those of you who also may not be familiar with Nairobi Garage, allow me to do just a brief introduction as to what we do. So we are Africa's largest and coolest co-working space. We also cover business and innovation, as well as have a co-working community. We believe that co-working drives innovation because whenever people share physical spaces, they're able to collaborate to create things ideally that you wouldn't have done so on your own, right? The flexible workspace at Nairobi Garage gives you business space and allows you to grow and get connected to a large network of similar-minded professionals. This allows you to increase your impact and scale. What we offer is a virtual network of over 1,000 entrepreneurs and professionals. We are home to over 150 growth-focused, innovative businesses. We have weekly events for members such as these and the wider business community. You might want to also get in touch with your different community managers for those of you who are part of one of our spaces to see what else is on offer. We have 4 central locations. So we've got Kilimani, where we are right now, which is at Pine Tree Plaza on Kaburu Drive. In Karen, we're on Dege Road at the Watermark Business Park. Spring Valley, we're in the Promenade Building on 19 General Mathenge. And we have our newest baby that's joined us, the Delta Annex Towers in Westlands. Our spaces offer a variety of amenities, including fully furnished office spaces, breakout spaces, reliable internet, very important, and bottomless tea and coffee to keep you alert as you work. We host these particular workshops every Tuesday to expose our members to the larger business community and explore areas of interest to entrepreneurs within our ecosystem. So in this week's workshop, without further ado, we are delighted to have Charlene Morera, the relationship manager at Turn Left Media. So this is LinkedIn's exclusive partner in Africa. So in terms of getting information on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, this is the person to speak to, all right? So Charlene will be taking us through a session on how to rock your LinkedIn profile successfully. So just a little bit of housekeeping. Please drop us the comments in the chat section, any comments you might have with regards to this workshop in the chat section, and put all your questions in the following tab, right? So the tab after the chat, all your questions in there. So we will take the questions at the very end of the session just so that we're not repeating ourselves, and so that they also don't get lost in the chat, populate them there. We may have 1 or 2 polls running as we go along, so feel free to also have a look at that tab if we populate it. But otherwise, Asante Sana, thank you so much for joining us. We're always here every Tuesday, so make sure you keep it locked to Nairobi Garage's site. Follow us on social media. But without further ado, I'm just going to introduce Charlene to let us know a little bit about ourselves. But a little heads up, we are in the same room. So if you see me turning this way, it's because she's right there. But yes, Asante Sana and Karibu Charlene.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone, from wherever you're watching from. So glad to see you here, and it's a pleasure to be hosted by Nairobi Garage. So my name is Charlene Morera. Like Mel has mentioned, I am a relationship manager with Turn Left Media. I will give you a deeper insight on what Turn Left Media does, but just to give you a bit of background, I am within the communications field. And more so data-driven marketing, strategy, consultancy, business intelligence, a whole lot of things. But my passion is actually building brands and taking brands through a certain journey, as well as those personal journeys to, just bring out the best in you. Okay. So I I will take you through today's session on how to rock your LinkedIn profile, and we're going to talk about various things and different things, and give you some tips on how to leverage LinkedIn for your day-to-day work, whether that is on a personal or individual level, or whether you want to use it as a business or as a brand, and we will see how that whole circle connects with each other. So just to start us off, I'd like us to just, sorry. Okay, all right. So today's agenda will be as follows. I'll just do a brief introduction, like I mentioned, of Turn Left Media, some bits of background onto LinkedIn and LinkedIn as a platform, just to get us understanding, how LinkedIn as a social media platform works. And then we'll go into the conversation of the day, which is your profile and your story and how to bring that out. And then we'll take some extra steps ahead and just see what more can you do with your profile once it is all set up, and how can you leverage LinkedIn, as we said. Feel free to ask questions as we go along, drop them in the chat. Mel will be assisting me in picking up maybe a few as we go along. However, we will have a Q&A session at the end. So if you want to jot down your questions, and then we can address them after that, okay? It's going to be an interactive session. I want all of us to engage and interact, so I'm looking forward to seeing your comments. If you relate to some of the things that I'm saying, or if not, just let's interact with it. So I'm also here to learn from you. I may pick a thing or two. But yeah, so let's just kick it off. And we will start off with who Turn Left Media is. So Turn Left Media is an exclusive partner of LinkedIn in Sub-Saharan Africa. So what this means is we support brands within Africa with their LinkedIn solutions and providing people with insights and resources that they can use to become their best selves on the platform. How the company is set up is that we are present across the continent, with representation in Nairobi, where I sit with my team of two other ladies. And for us, we actually handle Kenya, East Africa region, and just our neighbors around, okay? Then we have representation in Nigeria. We do have an office there and a team that works there that supports West Africa, parts of North Africa and their neighbors, and then where the bigger chunk of our business sits, so where most of our campaign managers, our directors, they sit in South Africa, and there we have two offices. So with the three offices and with the big team that is part of Turn Left Media, together with LinkedIn, then that is how we support Africa generally, okay? And just to give us a better understanding of what our core business is and what drives us to do what we do every day. And this is driven by our vision, yeah? We want to create economic opportunity for every member of the global workforce. What this means is that we try and create an environment where people can connect with opportunity, and where this opportunity is, connecting you to be more successful and more productive, on an environment where you feel safe, an environment where you can be your true selves, whether that is individually or as a brand, and connect you to the rest of the world on the largest professional network. So LinkedIn is not just about your online CV uploading platform. It's much more than that, as you're going to see. It's more about, gaining knowledge from the platform. It's about developing yourself as a thought leader, using your presence to influence, within your various capacities or within your various communities, and generally connecting that opportunity to the rest of the world and welcoming the rest of the world into Africa as well, okay? So then why LinkedIn, yeah? And just like every other social media platform that we know of or that we engage with, each platform has its own niche, it has its own role, it has its own ways of going about it. But the core thing about LinkedIn and why LinkedIn is because it connects you to opportunity. Okay, so remember, we're talking about connecting you and making you more productive, and we actually talk about driving economic growth, not just globally, but in the African setting as well. So this environment that we have created for you to engage and interact with and connect with different people is the opportunity. And that is what we call the value of LinkedIn, yeah? You can do so much on the platform, just interacting with different people, connecting, following, and engaging in various ways, and that is a real value in the proposition that LinkedIn offers you, okay? And just to give us now an idea of how does this opportunity come about, why is it value, and why, again, why LinkedIn? It's because LinkedIn is a very powerful place to be, okay? It offers you different tools and different insights and a lot of powerful data that you can connect to or can use to create opportunity or to leverage the opportunity. And this can be seen starting off by just the community or the global community of members on the platform. And we are currently at over 700 million active members on the platform. So that tells you something, that out of the 700 million plus people, they are doing various things on the platform, whether it is interacting to or engaging with the different companies. As you can see there, is it learning institutions? Are people there interacting because they are job hunting, or are they actually headhunting for talent in different ways? So this power of LinkedIn is the core into what we do and how we connect you to that opportunity. So just thinking about this 700 million members, imagine that whole community of all that content you can share, the influence you would have within that environment, and generally just being able to nurture yourself or grow within the platform, learning from each other and picking up things that we can engage with, okay? Just to give you, again, an overview of LinkedIn, and this is now more into the business aspect of it, yeah? So we've created an environment that is safe for you. We created this opportunity, and people are, again, connecting to opportunity based on various things, like I mentioned. And what you see on your screen right now, and we're going to go through them individually, this is what we call the core business, or the core verticals of LinkedIn. And with this comes, or what we have in mind here when we have these verticals is, the member, because LinkedIn is a platform where we keep the member first, yeah? So anything the member or anything as you, as a LinkedIn user would want to engage with, then we try and ensure that you have the resources that you need, not only for your day-to-day, but also for things that, can nurture you and can grow with you and help you in the things that you want to accomplish within the platform and beyond, okay? So as I said, these are our 4 core areas, and these are independent verticals. They're independent businesses as they are. So because we know customers and organizations are interacting for various things, whether that is to hire or headhunt, or you're looking to bring out your brand as or bring out your brand story as a great employer, or things that are derived around talent management, or sourcing out for talent, then this is where we talk about the LinkedIn talent solution, okay? Then we have our learning or our learn vertical, which is more of individual level, as well as enterprise, where you as an individual, you go onto the platform, LinkedIn Learning, you pick up a few courses that you're interested in, something that you would want either to acquire a new skill, or just do a short course to, to update your profile, or just spend your way in a more productive way, and you can do that with LinkedIn Learning. Now, LinkedIn Learning was an acquisition of lynda.com, so there are very, very many courses, short and long courses that you can take and actually get certified for them. And currently, actually, if there's anyone in the room who is more into the digital marketing field, communications, account management, and socials, we do have a great certification that was just launched about 3 months ago. So you can actually be LinkedIn certified in certain areas: how to use a campaign manager, how to set up, campaigns, how to strategize, how to monitor and optimize those campaigns. Okay. Then we have what most businesses are on the platform for, and even most of us, because again, we want to market ourselves, we want to present our best versions of ourselves on the platform, but most also for brands and businesses to market and to bring out their brand stories, or tell, build their brand reputation, or showcase a certain service or product. And this is where we talk about the LinkedIn marketing solutions, okay, which is actually one of the core areas to which Turn Left Media focuses on, together with the LinkedIn Talent Solutions, okay? Then lastly and not least is to sell, because ideally all these other things that we do, and especially as brands and organizations, we are looking to make the coin, okay? So LinkedIn has provided a premium tool, the Sales Navigator. So the Sales Navigator allows you to kind of see the back end, and a tool where you can leverage on finding or speaking directly to who the decision makers would be, or who the buying committee would be. By buying committee, I mean those people who are involved in making certain decisions. Whereas normally you would not just, for some people, you're not able to send messages directly to them. Then, a back end into it, you're able to actually see who possibly the finance manager of a certain organization is, or who the director is, and talk to them directly and create that conversation, because at the end of the day, this person is part of the buying committee. So in a nutshell, and we can discuss this further, and if there's anyone who wants to learn a bit more in line up to what we do, I'm happy to connect with you, connect with me on LinkedIn, and we can have a conversation further and see how we can discuss certain solutions for you as well. Okay? So, in as much as we talk about, organizations and customers connecting to opportunity, it goes beyond that as well. People, not just organizations, are connecting to this opportunity, but businesses as well are doing the same, and they're doing this through their people. Okay, so this is where you go an extra step. It's not just about your organization being present, but are your employees also present on the platform? Why is it important? And this is where we discuss, employee advocacy. And this is where you will start to understand why your profile, in whatever capacity you're in, really matters towards a brand or an organization, or even just individual, okay? Most of the time, and even in our day-to-day runnings or our day-to-day things that we do, most of the decisions that we make are influenced either by our peers or people within a community that we value, or are influenced by, referrals, for example. So if I happen to come to the Narrow Garage, I had a great experience, I will, influence the next person, or give my testimonial to the next person, and it creates a ripple effect as to this person connects with the next person, creates the same, influence, and before you know it, you have a whole community of people who are just influenced by just one person. So we talk about an individual profile being very powerful, and even as we think about it in our businesses or what we do, your employees are your first point of contact to the outside world. They're the ones who interact with the customer, and they're the first ones to kind of present the core value of the brand, or the culture within the organization. So it is very key that these individuals or these employees are portraying the best of themselves, on the platform. And that is why a LinkedIn profile is very important, because you are an influencer, and not only for your organization, but for your connections and for your potential community that you want to nurture and grow. Okay, so this is why we have the session today of Rock Your Profile, because we want you to engage further. We want your profile to be of influence, because we have seen that one profile can actually influence a lot. So this is where we talk about, starting and building up that profile to showcase your best self and connect you to that opportunity that we're talking about in an environment that you feel safe to do so. And just to take a step further, the same goes into engaging, our executives or our top leadership management, and even individually as people who would aspire to be thought leaders, okay? And we have seen that, and decision makers agree that thought leadership and that influence of thought leadership or social leadership increases trust in an organization and actually builds on your brand reputation. So what does this mean? Again, remember, you're one profile away to either a good reputation or a bad one. So the more you build up, this influence and this thought leadership within the industry that you're in, within the social circles that you're in, this again causes a ripple effect as to how your brand is perceived, based on those referrals, based on the interaction that you're having with the community of people that you build, and based on the connections that you're having. So again, one profile can really build and promote a certain brand perspective. So then what does this mean for us as individuals to have proper profiles and to drive thought leadership? Yeah, it means that we have to be more intentional in what we do, right? So whether you are a CEO or not a CEO, whether you are at your entry level in that organization that you're working with, whether you use your profile, to upskill and search for, business opportunities on the platform, remember the people you interact with inform and can influence certain decisions that you make, and the same, and vice versa. Yeah, your interactions with people can engage them more effectively, and that is the power of social media, right? So we don't always often talk about influence. We won't sit down and discuss how influential a person is, but you can feel it. You can feel it, and you can see it in the type of content that they share, in the interactions and the engagement that people have. So that means we have to be more intentional with our influence. One profile. So it doesn't mean influence in this case, as compared to what we know as other social media platforms. It's not about your following. It's not about how many connections you have if it's on LinkedIn platform. But it's that idea of thought leadership. As an entrepreneur, for example, how are you using your profile to create that influence that could later bring you certain opportunities, whether that is, it could be a startup you're running, so whether that is donor funds, whether that is partnerships from people, whether that is collaborations. The idea is to always build thought leadership within your profiles with the aim of connecting and creating and leveraging that opportunity. So as you can see, and data has shown that an average person has the potential to influence 80,000 people within their lifetime, or even more. So imagine the power of doing that on LinkedIn, where one profile can influence 80,000 people. So how many more can we influence, or how many, or how much more can we do from just our individual profiles to create change and to create some development or growth within our communities? Okay, so this is an opportunity to bring meaning and purpose to your relationships. And it is important, and especially at a time like now where we have limited face-to-face interactions. A webinar like this probably I would have done in-house at the Nairobi Garage, where I would have been interacting with you at a one-on-one level. But because we do not have that now, based on the situation that we are in, it is now more important for us to maintain those relationships and those connections that we have. And how do we do that better than being on a platform like LinkedIn, where you can build on that, learn from each other, and influence the change that you need, seated from the comfort of your home or your sofa. Okay. So moving along, and just to backtrack a bit, yeah. So we kind of have an idea now of why your individual profile is very important, or why driving thought leadership and employee advocacy is key in running businesses and driving brand reputation and brand stories. So all that connects together, and it all starts by you having a great profile. Okay, so this is where I want us to be more proactive. If you have another device near you, or if you can multitask and open your LinkedIn and just look at your profile as we go along and just see what it takes to create a great profile, and possibly pick up on a few tips here and there that you can later go back and refer to and edit and make your profile rock, that's the whole agenda of today. We want you to leave here feeling like I have the content, I have the resources to ensure that I am selling the best of myself, or showcasing the best as I can be on the profile, okay? So I'm going to take you through step by step the LinkedIn profile, and just give you some few tips and things that you can input if you already do not have. If you do, that is great, that is fantastic. We're going to look at going beyond that and seeing how again you can use your profile to ensure you are getting the best out of the platform. Okay, so like we said, your journey starts with one great profile, the look and feel of it, and because LinkedIn is member first. So we are constantly updating the platform to ensure that your experience is great, that you're having a great user experience, that you're having a great interaction with your timeline, that you are happy to see the LinkedIn profile and how the layout of the platform works. Okay, so step one is adding a cover photo. So I don't know how many of you, maybe just drop it in the chat, how many of you actually have a photo for your LinkedIn? Or is it like your other social medias? Probably you have a meme up as a profile, or some animation or something like that. But for LinkedIn and just the general feel of the platform, it is great to have a photo, and a photo that again is the best representation of yourself. Okay, you want to keep this photo nice and simple. You want to keep it clean. You don't want to have too much going on in the background, just so that people can see your face clearly, and they and in a situation where maybe you've connected with them and they kind of forgot where you met or can't remember your name, then they're able to recognize your face and actually create, that connection with you. And again, a photo just gives your profile a human touch. Yeah, I believe we're human, so you want to see, oh, this person, yeah, that this is the person I'm interacting with. Even if you've never met them, you can have a visual idea of who you would be interacting with. Okay. So then step two is, you also want to add your industry. So your industry being where does your expertise lie, or where do you mostly feel that you fit in? So whether this is computer software, whether this is in manufacturing, engineering, is it communications, is it digital media? Find an industry, and find an industry that best fits your expertise or what it is you do on a day-to-day. And why this is important is because it also allows, and you're going to see as we go along with our profiles, all the things that we add there are there to help other people also find us easier. Yeah, so you want to put in input keywords that, if somebody did an organic search, or say there's a talent recruitment company or agency that's looking to hire within a certain industry, that your profile appears. So it's always important to keep your profile updated and to keep your details up to date. So your industry information will enable you to get your profile out there. And again, through the data and the research of LinkedIn shows that people who have this information actually receive more profile views than those that do not have. Only because as well, people feel a certain connection, or they get, your profile shows who you are. So all the information that anybody would require or need to kind of have an idea or on who you are or what you do, then it should be present on your profile. Otherwise, then your profile could be missed on that. Okay. Then step three, you have the summary section of your profile, and this is where we talk about drafting a very interesting, short and precise, straight to the point summary, and think about it as your elevator pitch. Okay, think about it in terms of, if somebody just read that summary or that statement that you have, they have a great idea of what it is you aspire to be, for example, what your expertise is, what maybe your aspirations are, or what your goals are, and they're able to see whether that is a fit for whatever opportunity that they're looking to, or whether to connect with you or not, because they feel there are certain things within your summary that they can connect with, one, or they can learn from you. Okay, so think of it as selling yourself. So you want, again, to sell yourself the best way possible. What would make your your summary stand out from the rest, okay? And then another thing to note, and this is a pro tip, yeah? When you are drafting your summary, think about keywords that, again, remember, marketers use keywords, and those who are in the field know about, search engine optimization, SEOs, yeah? So they will actually, organically go reach or try and filter out profiles based on certain keywords. So if, for example, giving an example of myself, I'm into data-driven marketing. Actually, on my title, on my LinkedIn, you will see it. I have certain keywords of certain skills that I have, or certain things that I know if somebody looks at my profile, they would want to keep scrolling and get to know more about what it is I do. So think about keywords within your area or your industry, some jargon a bit that would kind of if your profile was put against somebody else, it would be filtered out as the top because of certain keywords and certain expertise that you have within the platform. So again, remember your summary is showing the value that you have. Yeah, or asking yourself, okay, so why should somebody care enough to go further and see or learn more about me or connect with me, yeah? Or what would make a recruiter pick my profile over somebody else's profile, okay? So think about it as your elevator page, make it short and straight to the point, and just key in your, and have those keywords and words that are used commonly within your industry or your field of work, okay? Then we have step 4, okay? Now remember, all these steps are going in a flowing manner. So we are going chronologically, yeah? Your picture, what appears after your picture, the title that you should have, then your summary, okay? And now we are where we need to go deeper into expounding what we said in our summary. So here is where we talk about our work. And again, remember, as we make changes in life, as we make career changes or career moves, then it is going to always keep it updated, because you don't want somebody to connect with you over a certain role that you do not currently hold or are not holding anymore, or miss out on an opportunity because you have not updated certain elements of your profile. So when we look at the section of detailing your work experience, again, it is a story. So we want to make sure that the person going through your profile kind of gets what they need fast and in a nice flowing manner. So it is always good, again, another pro tip, yeah, to start off by, just giving a short description of what the organization you work for does. So for example, I work for Turn Left Media, so I will include there. Turn Left Media is exclusive LinkedIn partner providing talent and marketing solution support, customer service, etc., things like that, right? And then after that, then you can go deeper into your key responsibilities or your key roles and what it is that you do maybe on a day-to-day. So is it strategy? Is it account management? Is it research? Or is it monitoring and evaluation? Or, things that bring out your responsibilities or what you do, what your core role is within that organization. And then mostly you want them to be, again, clear and precise, yeah? Not a whole story explaining A to Z of the role, but state it in bullet form and just say account management, probably project management, or partnerships and sponsorship, maybe research and development, things like that, yeah? Because then again, if somebody connects with you, they can always go an extra step and reach out to you should they want to know more about a specific role that you have put there, okay? Now, the other thing to note about your detailed work experience is if it's also good to bring out aspects of collaboration that you have done before. So say you worked in a team or a certain project or a certain initiative that got some traction or was actually within your role and working as a team. That is great to put on under your work experience as well. Why? Because then the person can tell that, okay, this person is a team player, or they're able to work in teams, they're able to collaborate, they're able to, pull together resources. So resource management is probably a skill that they have. And even the person can go further, and as we're going to go further and we're going to see, they can actually go and see what that project was about and kind of get an understanding of what your role was in it, okay? So remember to state the responsibilities of the roles that you have in bullet form, straight and precise, and then ensure you have, if you worked in teams on certain projects and things like that, outline them there if they were, part of your overall role within the organization. And as you can see, having all these details again gives you more engagement with your profile. More people want to connect with you, more people want to reach out to you because they've seen something they're interested in on your profile, and getting more profile views as well, okay? So the more information you have on your profile, the better. That way it kind of gives the person, it keeps them going, and it builds the momentum of them wanting to actually engage and connect with you. Okay, so then we go to step 5. So step 4, we have outlined what our role is, our day-to-day jobs are. We have talked about the collaborations in certain projects and things. It could be an article that you wrote. It could be you appeared in the newspaper talking about something. The organization was, featured somewhere in a magazine or things like that. Small things. It could be a webinar like this that I'm hosting, and you can share this recording or share this slide and presentations under your activities tab or under your examples of work. So this is a very important part of the profile as well, because then you have told people what it is you do, but now they kind of have examples and they can see it for themselves, or see the interpretation of what that responsibility was and the outcome of it, yeah? So here it's like a showcase area of your profile where you get to showcase the different things that you've done. If you're a creative, if you're an artist, have some of your portfolios there. If you're a photographer, perhaps, you have a portfolio, or you have certain events that you've covered and you have some snippets, perhaps you've done, certain articles, blog posts, name it, white paper, research papers. Put it there and let people see what you're actually capable of doing. So it's not just about what I said I can do. Here is an example of actually me doing what I said I can do, yeah? So again, in the sense that you're putting this media there is also a way of adding value to your profile and adding and just backing up what you put up as the expertise or the level of expertise that you have, okay? Then again, in another core area of the profile, and one that is highly underrated, if I must say, most people don't put up their volunteer experiences. And volunteer here means it could either be mostly by definition, volunteer is, something that pertains to, or a job or an activity that pertains to, not being paid. It's not an actual job title, but it could be something that, one, helped you gain some sort of value, added value to you as an individual, and value in the sense that this is value that you're also, showcasing and showing people that you're capable of. Or it could be something that you did that helped you acquire a new skill or learn something new that, again, can be added onto what you put under your work experience or under your, your compelling statement, and saying, yeah, I am a resource, I'm able to pull together resources, and this is how I did it. In fact, I volunteered with a certain NGO, for example, in constructing a school, or was it a CSR activity that you did within your organization or within your community of friends, and things that show people that there's actually another side of you other to just the serious work, 8 to 5 type of thing, that you actually go ahead an extra mile to connect with people within your community, or do certain, social work and things that just add more value onto you. So your volunteer experiences are also good because, again, they still add value, and they could be related to actually the jobs that you're doing, because there are certain skills that you picked up or certain responsibilities that you would be able to handle given an opportunity to do so. Okay, so adding your volunteer experience is important. Remember, even under the work experience and volunteer experience, the more you keep doing these things, keep updating them. So again, your work experience will flow in a chronological order from your present to your past. So people also see, kind of a timeline of how you have grown. Perhaps if you look at mine, you'll probably see started off as an intern, updating to an associate, maybe manager, director, and even, CEO, partner, or even business owner. So people, again, have an idea of the type of, progression that you've had in your career, and that's just continued value, continue added or value add to your profile, okay? Step number 7 is adding skills and getting endorsed. So I know on LinkedIn we do this a lot, where you put in your skills, and especially the soft skills that we've acquired over time. So the most common being maybe your Microsoft Office, maybe Adobe. I don't know. Maybe you can tell me in the chat below, what other skills do you have there? Is it public speaking? Is it communication? And then everyone who you've ever worked with or people who connected with you endorse you, and they add value and say, yes, I actually know Charlene is a great public speaker because maybe I've interacted with her at one of her public speaking events, or maybe she's a good event manager because I've attended an event that she's organized, or it depends on how, again, I'm able to pull out presentations, so you can see that I have some Microsoft skills and things like that. So putting up your skills there, and you can go further and deeper into other skills. Is it Java perhaps? Is it Oracle and Loqua that you have? There are certain skills that you have learned over time that actually add value to your role, or actually help you, or things that you use on a day-to-day that just make life easier, or make your job easier, or help you bring the success of what role you have been held accountable for. So another pro tip about your endorsement, and this I'm going to combine together with requesting a recommendation because they are part of the same section. Yeah. So the previous section is your skills. So Microsoft Office, financial analyst, data analyst, scientist, etc., etc., and you still get endorsed by people who you've interacted with. But then there's also a step further where you can actually get a recommendation for either the role that you hold, or a role that you've had before, or an endorsement based on a certain skill perhaps that you have. Yeah. And here the pro tip, and the thing that I know most people kind of not think about a lot, is there's also value in the type of recommendation that you have, and especially from who is recommending you. So sometimes you find, and it's great, I'm not saying that they're bad recommendations, because we have different interactions and different recommendations for different things, yeah? So say perhaps you want a recommendation based on your work experience or your job role, yeah? An endorsement or a recommendation from maybe your supervisor, your line manager, or some executive in the company would be a great recommendation, okay? Recommendations given by your peers, people you've actually worked with within a certain team or within a certain department of an organization, are key. Because remember, those are the people who in our CVs we put as references or referrals, right? So it is the same analogy when you have your LinkedIn profile. Get recommendations from people, or credible recommendations and endorsements from people you've actually interacted with and people who understand you best. And it doesn't even harm to draft your own recommendation and share it to the person that you wish to endorse it for you or recommend you, and have them just proofread it, or change up a few things, or give them certain talking points, maybe, onto, can you bring out my work as a team player? Can you bring out my work in terms of efficiency? Can you bring out my strengths or what you see as my weakness? But, and things like that, so that you have a credible and you have a wholesome recommendation from these people that you interact with. So the same goes to your skills, yeah? I know we really endorse a lot. We endorse, everyone, is probably endorsed on Microsoft Excel or Word or PPT, but those are the skills that continue to add value, or even things that you've done certifications on and they're here. Getting those endorsed as well, as much as we do these other smaller day-to-day things, actually add more value and are as important as those smaller ones as well. Okay, so requesting a recommendation, line managers, team players, even from your volunteer experiences would be great recommendations. So could be your managers, directors, executives, etc. Yeah, and feel free to sit them down and tell them, exactly what type of recommendation that you would be looking for, or try and get a recommendation that is in line also with your summary, that brings out that yes, somebody's endorsing Charlene for being a good, I don't know, data marketing specialist, for example. Okay, so far so good. So overall, step by step in terms of how the profile works, and there are other smaller elements sometimes that we forget. Yeah, so don't forget to update your location, your education. Most of us have our certifications there, degrees, masters, PhDs, and other doctorate or any form of educational learning that you had. It's also great to put it up there. Location, where are you currently? And why location is important is, remember as well, brands also are looking to interact with you on the platform as well, or even just other people within a certain community. And remember that you can use LinkedIn as a search engine or a search tool. So different ways of filtering, all those profiles that are on the platform. People use various folks to do so. So they could be doing that based on your location. They could be doing that based on the job titles that you put there, perhaps maybe even level of education and things like that. So keeping them updated ensures that you're always staying in touch with the people that matter, in that your profile or you are, you're open to the opportunity, because you're always on track with keeping things up to date. Okay, if you have any accomplishments that you've done, whether that's like emceeing, I don't know, running a 10K, or different things like that, put them there, because at the end of the day, we want to have a human connection with you as well. It's not just about the presence, but the human-to-human interactions. Publications, like I mentioned in your activities, have you written a book? Have you written a research paper? Was it your dissertation and some research findings? Is it a white paper? Is it publications that are based on, your own 2 cents on a certain social cause or a certain aspect of what you do on a day-to-day, okay? So hopefully so far so good. We're just about done, so then we'll have Q&A, but I hope everyone is grabbing something, a thing or two, okay? So then we have looked at the profile, we have updated it, we are on track, and we are there, we are present, yeah? But what else can we do? And this is where I say we go beyond the profile. So LinkedIn, like any other social media tool these days, is we use it for so much. You're going on to social media for research, you're going to social media for entertainment or edutainment, you're going there to socialize with people, but you're also using it as a search engine for one thing or another, either whether you're looking for a recommendation on, or maybe say Instagram, for example, or you're looking for certain updates from Twitter and things like that. So the same applies when it comes to LinkedIn. LinkedIn, like we said, the power of LinkedIn, yeah, is that community. So with it comes the aspect of, gaining knowledge and insights from the platform. And how can you do that? Is you follow companies, follow influencers that are, that interest you, or people who derive value for you, right? So we follow companies based on maybe the type of brand that they run. Maybe you like how it started from a startup. You can leverage a few insights within the industry that they're in. And the same to influencers. These are people, CEOs or thought leaders in their field, in their in certain areas or in certain industries that we look up to, one, either as mentors or role models, Or you can learn a thing or two in terms of maybe how to run a business, how to be an exceptional thought leader. You can pick up on, wow, how to, be a leader generally as well, and things like that. So it is important that the people we follow, the companies that we follow, the brands that we follow are people who we connect to for one reason or another, and they can derive value for us. Value here being whatever that means to you. It could be just seeing the person's, 2 cents on a certain issue, giving you a different angle of maybe some social change initiatives that they have going, or even just within the space that you're in. How are these guys thriving? For example, if I follow a company like Microsoft or Safaricom, like I'm keen to understand how is it that such a huge brand can continuously thrive, yeah? And you learn a thing or two from that. Or can I interact with the people within the organization who can give me a few, tips just from following them and seeing what it is that they post, yeah? So remember, our profiles are influences, and for those businesses, those employee profiles are what influence us towards this brand or this connection. Okay. Again, you want to use LinkedIn as an advanced search tool. So here, whether you're looking for deeper insights or deeper research within a specific area, so you see where your locations and your industries, are coming in handy. What type of topics perhaps. So you want maybe you're interested in what fintech. You want to see, the latest app development or the latest development within that field from a certain country or a certain region, and things like that. Yeah, you want to find certain people based on their industries, and things that you can pick up one or two. So LinkedIn is also a very powerful search engine in terms of helping you filter out and find what is important to you. Okay. And then, as any other social media feed as well as you would do, you want to ensure that you're customizing your feed, yeah? The things that you see on your timeline are solely dependent on how much you interact with that content that you're seeing and how well you also filter and customize it. So if it's something that you do not want to see more of or has no value to you, or you do not connect with, whether that is an influencer or an organization or certain types of content, then you can say hide this post or see less of this, and then interact with more of what you actually want to derive value from, right? So again, it's also being part of part of customizing your feed is also being a good citizen on the platform. Yeah, things that are vulgar or do not belong on social media do not apply. Are you reporting those posts? Profiles that maybe are going against certain guidelines or certain content that is not suitable for the platform, we make that community better. And the more we keep customizing our feeds and keep doing these things, the more we're building on the trust, and the more we're building on content that we actually want to engage with. So you're creating more value, not only for yourself, but for the next person in terms of what it is that they want to seek opportunity with. Okay. So we've said a lot, and just to wind down. And this is what I really want you to take home, that your profile is your gold mine, and it is that profile that will create influence and bring and drive opportunity for you, whatever that opportunity is for you. Are you a small business owner? Are you just starting up? Are you looking for business in various ways? How can you bring out your business as a thought leader through your profile? Because at the end of the day, if you're a startup, for example, you're an entrepreneur, you're the face of the business. So present your business the best way you can through your profile. Are you able to interact and share and publish things that again are creating value and deriving you as a thought leader, right? So thought leadership is about influence, it's about sharing your 2 cents, it's about giving or sharing what you know and the insights that you have from your own perspective, from your own voice. So it's not about repeating what everybody else has said, but taking a different angle of what that piece of content means to you, and then that can also be somebody else's piece of content, okay? So the take home for us today is to leverage on our profiles to connect with the opportunity on the platform, connect with different people, interact with them, engage with them, see something interesting on their profile, reach out to them, because that's how a community grows. And eventually it's a ripple effect. It keeps growing. Remember, your profile is an overall face of your business or within an organization, because people will want to see the work culture, perhaps, so they will come and look at your profile, or if you want to learn a thing or two from your, publications and things like that. Okay, so that is it. Hopefully I've covered what was intended for today, that you picked a thing or two. So yeah, Mel, take it over.
Absolutely. So what we're going to do now is hopefully we can get into some questions. I can see quite a few questions have been asked. If you guys have any other questions that are not covered in the questions tab on the right-hand side, please go ahead and populate those, but we'll start off with Simone, and 4 people have echoed the same, basically asking how useful are LinkedIn posts and articles to a person's visibility on LinkedIn, and how often should one be posting on LinkedIn?
Okay, that is a great question. Sorry, what was the first bit of the question?
How important, or how useful rather, are LinkedIn posts and articles to a person's visibility?
Okay. So when you're talking about visibility, you're also talking about, are you being seen, are you being heard? And that is the whole essence of thought leadership. So remember what I discussed and said, we are looking to see how am I deriving thought leadership in what I post and in what I do, right? So that is creating visibility in itself for you. Again, who am I connected to? Are those people engaging with me? And if they are not, maybe you might, again, it's an interaction, you're trying to build face-to-face connections, but on an e-learning, on an online platform, meaning you can also get feedback from those people and perhaps ask, okay, what do you think of the latest article that I posted? Did it relate to you? If it didn't, what better, what other angle can I take? How can I bring out content that the people that I'm connected with can also benefit from, or can also connect and engage and even collaborate on, right? So I'm making posts. Yes, I posted a paper today or an article today, again, trying to bring out your visibility. Check for feedback, read down the comments and see what are people saying. Is the idea that you had, or the thought that you wanted other people to interact with, is it what they're interacting with? What is the feedback? How can I improve it? Do I need to change anything? So it's a lot about engaging and interacting with those people from a thought leadership perspective. And then it will be a ripple effect. The thing with LinkedIn and with referrals is that you will see different people are viewing your profile and you wonder, okay, how did you find me? But you go back later and see, oh, this person is connected to this person. So again, at the end of the day, the small things are building up to your visibility. In terms of how often should I post, how often do you feel you want to post? Because you could be bringing out different aspects or different topics. Could be once a week, could be 3 times a week.
Because I know with LinkedIn, posts tend to linger a lot longer than other social media platforms that you interact with, and so stuff keeps popping up that was maybe posted 3 weeks ago, a month ago. So maybe it's not so much about the frequency, unless you're trying to become, I guess, like an influencer.
Perhaps, think of it as quality and not the quantity. Quality over quantity, because you could be posting every day, right? But are you getting the traction that you are going to be getting? Or is this content just, I need to post something out today, so I'm just pushing whatever I will push out today, right? So LinkedIn is more of a quality, and that's why we talk about thought leadership. You're looking at different angles, different things that have not been said, even whether that is, and again, it's your opinion, right? Bringing your opinion out in the best way possible to create this interaction. So quality over quantity would be the key.
I think what I'll ask next is what Maureen Mugoni asked, which is it necessary then to have LinkedIn Premium? I mean, you mentioned that you get to see who's viewing your profile. That's something that's special to people who actually pay for that service. Is it necessary?
It's not necessary. Again, it depends on what your objective is or what you're trying to get from the platform, right? LinkedIn Premium is great, even from an individual point of view, because sometimes we are on the platform because we want to constantly grow or upgrade in certain things. I may not be actively looking for a new job now, but Premium would help me see, for example, the role that I have now, or a higher role than what I am currently doing, and there's a job opportunity. I'm able to go and see the JDs there and try and match my skills or compare my profile to the requirements of that profile, right? And in the same sense, when you have premium, and you can still do this without premium, but the added value of having a premium account is that it actually even shows you out of all the job descriptions and out of all the skills or what do they call them, requirements, how many of those do I match? So if there are 10 requirements, either educational, skills, whatever, I'm able to see that based on what I have on my profile, I match 10 of those, or I match 8 of those, meaning that I am a potential candidate. I'm also able to see what backgrounds other people who have applied for the same job have or are in. Because then that informs me as an individual. Then I'll be like, oh, okay, I see now the trend now is that if I want to be a marketing manager somewhere, then I need to have my ins and outs on certain tools, for example. I need to be LinkedIn certified. I need to be HubSpot certified. Certain things like that that maybe I do not have. And those are things, again, that allow you to progress. So the next time you're actively looking to update or advance, then you're a step ahead, right? It is not a must. Again, with premium, it is a very good tool for business development. So if you are in business and there's premium for individuals and there's premium for enterprises. So within an organization, you can buy an enterprise package of premium that allows you to see the back end of different organizations who the decision makers are, gives you a deeper dive into looking for leads and talking directly to those leads, and just very many other small things that you do not get just from your ordinary profile. But for me, if you can, and if it's something that you feel would add value to you, then definitely premium would work for you. It doesn't mean it doesn't work for everyone, but again, like I said, what is your objective?
And again, just making sure that you actually harness the value of
exactly.
Great. So Wamboy asks, how does building a community help on the platform? So I guess this is more for like businesses. Or maybe also individuals. So.
Depending, because again, we're talking about thought leadership and influence. So how does building a community help your platform? Okay. So from an organization point of view, we build a community because we're looking at the long term. These are your community is people who are like your repeated customers, right? And people will follow a page or a company page because there's something there they want to see, right? Or they're expecting to get some value from you, right? So how it helps you is that these are the same people who will become your referrals, your advocates. They're the ones who will open up their connections to, interacting with your brand. So again, bringing in new business prospects or customers and clients, right? And nurturing that community also just helps you kind of get a back end onto who your target really is, right? What direction your business is taking, because they'll give you feedback. When things hit the fan, right? They're the first people to come and tell you, I like your product, but no, right? They'll call you out. What the engagement that they have will inform some of the decisions as a business that you have, product-wise, messaging-wise, brand storytelling-wise, and things like that, right? And having a community just makes them feel part of your brand. They are your brand because there's that communityness, if that is even a word, there's that feel that you get that you are associated with a certain brand, and that brand is also associated with you.
And the community could also just become crusaders of your product.
Exactly. Again, they're your own thought leaders.
Absolutely. Eve asks, once you get an initial LinkedIn connection and you want to introduce yourself to the connection, is there a way you can do it without pitching yourself?
Is there a way you can do without pitching yourself? An initial connection. I think that's why we have the standard message when you send out connections to people, and you can say, hi, I'd like to connect with you to learn 1, 2, 3 things. And that could be the point of a conversation, right? It could be, what have you seen on their profile that attracts you to them, or what would you like to learn from them? What industry are they in? Is it a certain role? Again, depends. what level of engagement are you looking for from that person, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody writes to me or sends me a request and says, hey, Charlene, I'm actually building on my career as a communications professional. I see you have this and this background. Can we have a chat?
Yeah.
I'd be more than happy to, because then that's somebody who has probably gone through my profiles with my work experience, and there's something they feel I could either mentor them on or just give them some few insights,
Yeah.
you know, or just enable or create an opportunity one way or another. Right?
Yeah, and I think what I would add to that, sorry, is just, so do you strike out as what? Someone's just accepted it. Do you then go in the DMs, are they called DMs? You go into the inbox and ask, you know, I'd like to connect. Do you give it a little bit of time?
It's a bit tricky, but for me, what I would say is the initial, however soon, however late you decide to do it, it is always the content of the message. You know, we don't want to be in a situation where you say hi and then you disappear. Hi, then what, right?
So
and especially when you're talking to more, I don't call them influential people, but certain executives, right? Who we kind of have the perception that they're snobbish and what have you. But if you write, hi, my name is this is what I do, this is what I've created, I like that you were in the same, can we have a chat?
You save them a lot of time.
You save them a lot of time, and the person knows exactly what it is that you want and what you're trying to drive. So makes communication easier, right? So I'll say it's in the messaging, how you craft it. Again, you're not pitching yourself, but what value have you seen on their profile that you can take up and use that as a conversation starter, for example?
Yes. Great. So if we don't have any questions, we will wind up shortly. Maybe people want to know how to get in touch with you. I guess they're going to give us your LinkedIn.
Yes.
Find her on LinkedIn.
Yes.
But yeah, so asante sana to everyone who showed up for this. Thank you very much, Charlene, for your time. In case you have any questions, as she said, you can reach out to her on LinkedIn. It's Charlene with an L-E-E-N. Get it right?
Yes.
It's been an absolute pleasure having you. I think the insight you've given us into this platform that's LinkedIn has been wonderful. And this is recorded, so you can find it on YouTube. We'll upload it shortly. But as Nairobi Garage, we want to say thank you for joining us. We will be extending a free day pass to each and every person who attended this. So feel free to, join us in any one of our locations. And just experience our product as well, and go shout about it on LinkedIn. But other than that, thank you very much for your time. We'll see you here next week on Tuesday. We have another wonderful workshop lined up about personal finances, so you want to tune in for that. But otherwise, yes, thank you. Have a wonderful day wherever you are. Hopefully you're warm, but yes, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Bye.